the Indianapolis Museum of Art, and joining me is Director of Horticulture, Chad Franer. Well, Chad, this is a beautiful mall leading up to the museum, very park-like. Tell me a bit about this space.
It's basically, what we were trying to do was, it was a former parking lot. We still needed the spaces for parking. So what we tried to create is a little bit more visitor friendly, and then it's what is an intensive green roof. So we have about 3.5 to 4 feet of soil profile of a structured soil that we can grow full-size trees and other plant material with it.
And that soil level, or the structured soil, has very different properties from your native soil. It's been a little bit of a challenge for you.
Yes, it's extremely well drained, obviously, to keep the loads off the structure itself. Very low in organic matter, so we have to work out with a pH to try to find plants that are a little bit more tolerant of higher pHs with our hard water here.
I suppose there's a bit of trial and error and all that.
Quite a bit of trial and error.
Well, this surely has changed the face of the museum. This used to be a parking lot, well, it still is, but now it's disguised beautifully.
Yes. We house 220 cars underneath the mall parking, and what it's done is made it a little bit more visitor friendly, with a more of a gentle approach to the building, more pathways, has somewhat of a formal view, but it coincides with the building fairly well.
And how's this space used?
We use it a lot for just anybody to have lunch, picnicking. We have a lot of school groups that drop off here, and then kind of an early area to stage before they're going into the museum, or for lunch.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I'm sure you get a lot. You have some good shade here. Actually, I was noticing the double row of trees along the edge and how that provides shade on both sides. So many times you go to a park and half of it's in the shade because there's just one row of trees. So. Yeah,
the double row is partly for design, but also for the comfort of the visitor to be able to have more shade. It gets hot out here in the dead of summer.
Yeah.
But even in the winter, it really looks very nice with the structure of the building.
Some really good structure. And so a lot of their design plays off this very modern face of the art museum itself. How have you worked to connect the landscape to the building?
I think a lot of it deals with more of the structure of the plant material. The dawn redwoods that we have in the background have a great structure to them that I think complements the building. And we try to scale the sizes properly so that the building's not so overpowering.
Well, I think you've achieved that very nicely. You have such a nice, graceful, gradual transition from the soft landscape to the building. You also have this beautiful Sasaki fountain here, and I imagine it's as much of a feature from the inside of the building as it is from out here.
Yes, the fountain is original. So originally people used to drive around it. That was part of making it much more visitor friendly. We wanted to be able to have gardens on the exterior, but also to be viewed from the interior, so that we're capturing as much space for people to pay attention to the gardens and to enjoy them.
Yeah, and adding to the beauty and the art. Now, as you approach landscaping here, you know, that idea of we're at an art museum, how does that play into your design?
I think we try to have a combination between both the structure of the formal effect that is going to be permanent, but then we try to do a little bit more bold, eye-popping color displays and structural displays with the plant material, whether more so with annuals and tropicals. We tend to venture into that a little bit more.
A little bit larger masses of color.
Masses and size. Try to get some larger plant material for that.
Okay. Well, and of course you have that art connection out here in the landscape with some sculptures placed throughout the gardens, and right here on the mall you have two pieces.
Yeah, we use them as focal points. Others are focused on endings of paths and that sort of thing. So they were worked into the design, and occasionally they'll change out, much like the galleries would, but the art moves around a little bit, but it's a little more permanent here than it is interior.
Yeah, and you've given it a nice home and a beautiful surroundings. So really well done. Thank you so much for sharing the grounds with us.
Well, thanks for coming out and seeing us.